Hello, and welcome to this session of the Quantum Field Journey. In this particular session with this client, she has been struggling a bit with feeling like she is behind in her ascension process and in understanding her light field. And so through this session, we find that she is actually being brought into a new range of capacity for her light. And as she's taken on her journey, she comes into her temple space to learn how to work with her energy. Essentially, all of these sessions are to assist the clients to get to know their own fields, to experience it through the body so that it becomes extremely visceral, and that when they return from the journey, that they bring this experience and all of its sensations through the vision, through the touch, through the hearing with them, so that it no longer becomes an experience that has occurred outside in the ethers. It has become a more physical experience. So during this session, she creates the space for herself to explore and work with her own energy field. In addition, she is brought to her divine masculine, where she is also able to release off some dark energies that have been trailing the field and really affecting through the union. Thank you for tuning in and sharing on this journey, and so much love and blessings to you all. That's exactly what this whole process is too. It's like we all feel like we're missing something, it's like I'm supposed to be
Yeah,
somewhere else that I'm not, and I don't get it. And I think that's almost the big, like, it's almost like this whole journey has this kind of shell over it, or this story of like it's supposed to be a certain way, like we're supposed to know, like that's what we're trying to figure out, right? Is like all of this knowing, and yet the whole process is about figuring out how we know and how that comes
right.
to us. So yeah, that's exactly, you're breaking it down, so that's really great.
Yeah, literally just in a one step at a time format
Mm-hmm.
instead of my
Mm-hmm.
usual, oh, I need to know everything now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, but maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to know things as I meant to know them, and I'll take one step forward and see what happens.
Yes, exactly, and that's all we can do, and that's the part that is just missing so often. It's like we want to know the secrets, we want to know the mysteries, and yeah, that
Yeah,
can get really overwhelming, feeling like we're somewhere where we're, we should be somewhere else, we should be ahead.
yeah,
It's almost like that kind of matrix feeling of this journey. It's like, oh, all these, like, comparing and contrasting where we are with others and what other
exactly.
people know that we don't, and yet it's like, no, this is your soul, and you're here at this point in this timeline for a very specific reason. And we've always said it's like you don't activate until you activate. So it's like, and then
Well,
right after that, it's up to you what you do with it. But it can feel like you're always late to the party sometimes.
well, actually, I reframed even that for
Yeah.
myself because I thought about the way I move through life, right? So when
Mhm.
there's things I almost want to put off, or I have this tendency where I'll do things at the very last minute and then I power do it. And I've
Yeah.
always been able to do that. Exams, anything, I would be like, nope, I'm going to cram and I'm going to ace this. And that's just the way it is. I only give myself the attention to something when it actually needs it,
Mhm.
almost. And I'm like, this is kind of feels like that as well, right? It's like, just that I'm going to do it and then it's going to come in, it's going to be like, bam,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
so much force at once. And
Mhm.
yeah, it just kind of made me chuckle. I'm like, yeah, I've kind of operated that way in other areas of my life. So,
Well, it's almost like you have to create that space for yourself, though, too. You're like, okay, now this is the priority, and this is it. Like, this is all I'm going to focus on. So,
yeah, it's kind of do or die, right? It comes
yeah.
down to it. It's like, okay, this has to get done now,
Yes,
you
exactly.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a big portion of the energies right now, too, is like, this is it. Like, either step up or
Yeah.
for the consequences, which we're all feeling. That's that underlying, kind of anxiety of all these energies too. As
Yeah,
things start dropping
absolutely.
away, and it's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to be holding on to when this all goes? So, for sure, like,
Yeah.
in this case, it's not a bad thing, although we interpret it that way, because that's the insanity of the human. So, and that is so much of this needing to be in the flow right now too, is just being open, like we said, to every possibility,
Mm-hmm.
because it is hard to know through these transitions where we're supposed to be at. So it's like, okay, what is presenting, and that's it. It is what it
Yep.
is. So,
I'm like, okay, not meant to go there, meant to be here, meant to
mm-hmm.
do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trusting in
Good.
that.
Okay, so for today, was there anything specific that you wanted to focus on?
I guess just around the um more maybe I don't know. Like I there's so much coming up, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everything around mission and union and all this stuff that
Yeah,
just seems to be so pressing right now.
sure.
And maybe just sort of in around see what comes up with that.
Yeah, the whole lot of it, of course.
The
So,
whole,
yeah,
yeah.
I know. Well, which, I mean, at this point, it's like union is mission, mission is union. So
Right.
it's all part of the same piece. Like, there's no
Yeah.
separating out in that sense anymore, at least through again, that kind of urgency that we're feeling for it. So, okay.
And I guess me just again becoming even more familiar with my own modeling and how that works. So if
Right.
that kind of comes through, then great.
And if you could describe how you are experiencing the energy that is presenting now.
I'm seeing what look like, they look like jewels, violet, purpley jewels floating in, shimmery, and it's like they're coming into me. They remind me of amethyst, but
Mm.
um, even more than that, more luminescent somehow. Almost like there's an opalescent quality to them.
Okay, very good. As you recognize and allow, begin to accelerate as this pulls into your field. Oshokoyataya. Would you say there's a specific area of your body that you are receiving this through?
I can feel a lot. It feels like it's almost like they're coming through my hands,
Okay.
but not just there, going into more of the core of my body as well.
Mm-hmm.
My heart and solar plexus area, I can feel that.
Very good.
Maybe it's that the energy of them comes out through my hands.
So as you're taking this into your center, it begins to circulate and tone through the field. We just start to connect in through the feet again. Are you able to look down at where you're standing? Or can you feel in to your base?
I feel like I'm standing close to the middle of the temple floor. Like I've come down some steps, and it's like it oscillates between this feeling of having, what would feel like a sheepskin kind of rug underneath, very soft.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look down, it looks more like a solid floor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some type of stone or hard surface, but it's very soft for the foot.
Mm-hmm. And it almost feels as if we're transferring from one medium into another. We might recognize this as a transference plane through the field and into the physical form. Wondering if you're able to make out, or if you have the sense of a structure of light. It may appear as a shape or a symbol upon the floor. You might also feel this within your heart space.
Just looking.
Mm.
Feels like some type of mandala, almost, like designs within a circular form.
Okay, very good.
It swirls in it almost like similar to like a flower. Like if you were to kind of scribble like a flower, these loops within a mandala. There's more detail than that.
Mm. Does it feel intricate?
Yeah, it would be hard for me to describe all that's in it.
Does it appear as a type of lattice?
Perhaps kind of reminds me of like a doily that you'd have like on a grandmother's table.
Yes, very delicate.
Lacy.
Yeah.
Lace.
Good. Okay. So just start to feel, as you're tuning in to these signatures, beginning to sense another presence within the room, within the temple space. As they begin to step forward to the symbol, I'm wondering if you might be able to open to this exchange to see if there is a correlation between the symbol that's on the ground and to this other presence, or maybe even if you can just describe how you are experiencing presence in correlation with this symbol.
It actually has the feeling of a grandmother, because this symbol it reminds me of this sort of old-fashioned lace work and this grandmother energy that comes in that wants to, feed me cookies and kind of nurture, wants to take care and make sure I'm happy and safe. I'm getting this image of the old cookie tin as well, like the shortbread cookie tins. I can't really see, make out the figure very clearly, but that's the impression.
Okay, very good. So we're just going to start to clear through the space now, as we have your guide presenting. And she comes in on your left side, and we see the pink tones. It's as if the temple walls start to drop away now. And we start to find ourselves within another scene and another space as we continue to follow this progression. As we continue to index this journey through the light field. Thank you. Into the heart index and just coming in through the left eye. Very good. And adjusting through, feeling this into the left foot, through the top of the left side of the head. As we continue to support the field. And now, if you can, describe what you are experiencing through the space.
It's like a ridge. It's outside. And I can immediately see these big evergreen. I see evergreens, and I see kind of like a mountainous range across the, not quite a canyon, but kind of like a valley below. I'm up high, and I can see down and across. See these sort of low mountainous ranges, and below I see water. But I'm on it feels like a trail, but it comes out to this, it's not like a sort of a rock cliff, but it's gradual. It's not like a steep drop off, it just feels gradual. And I'm just taking in the scene, and the sky just looks so vast.
Very good. No shoshokotashi shiano kohotai shaya koya. Doshona ukoya as we adjust.
It's also this feeling of wanting to almost take off like a bird from this, from space.
So we have the sense through the space that you are rendering through this imagery your capacity. We see the full range from the sky down to the waters. Feeling into the energy of the mountains and the power that those hold. And the feeling of wanting to take off into the space of your potential. Okay, so let's see if we can call this closer. If we can move ahead on this path and bring you to these mountains, to this range. Can you see yourself there now? Just describe how you start to experience this.
There's this feeling of wanting to climb up midpoint, because I feel a space there for me. There's like this, there's like a little sanctuary up there in the mountain face.
Okay. So you're finding yourself at the base of the mountain?
Or very close to the
okay.
beginning of it, yeah. But there's this feeling as if I could just run up to that location and it would be effortless.
So let's do that now. Let's find yourself effortlessly arriving. Would you describe this as the center of this mountain?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it feels like a midpoint. And it's an entryway into the mountain.
Very good. And do you experience this anywhere within your body? Is there a correlation?
My throat feels like it has something to do with my throat.
Okay, very good. So let's go into the throat and let's ask, as we connect into this midpoint and the consciousness of this space that you have entered, we're just going to start to expand through the dynamics of the mind. We start to pick up on the golden tones, feeling this open. As we connect through these golden ranges within the mind, we also ask in to the midpoint and into the throat. What feeling or picture that it would like to show us, the correlation through these pieces. You're starting to see if you pick up on any impressions.
I keep seeing this shade of blue. It's it's so beautiful. It's a deep, how do I describe? Kind of like a lapis lazuli, I think it's called.
Yes.
That just, it's so beautiful. It's so rich. I'm seeing this blue and it looks like it's covering this whole mouth of this cave area, this entry point. It's
very good.
It's lit up inside, but I'm not sure how it's lit up. It's just glowing from the walls.
Would you say that you are within this space now, or are you still outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm entering it. Just
so you've
kind
entered.
of still in the entryway.
Okay, very good.
And it's like I can sense the vibration of it. There's this so there's the color, but there's a sound that's soundless. If that makes sense. It's a vibration.
So a frequency, sure.
Frequency, yeah, that would be it.
Very good, very good. So my sense is that this is presenting as almost a crystal, because you're seeing the stone, you're identifying the color as the crystal structure. So there is this sense of a density within this high range of frequency. So let's see if you...
like,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just feel like I could, like, it's mesmerizing. And it's changing shapes, like within the stone itself. It's got these grains in it that are moving, you know?
Feels like a modulation almost.
Yeah, it's kind of hypnotizing in a way. But they're all in these different shades of blue.
And this again seems to be extremely nourishing for the body as well. Let's see if we can start to move deeper into this space. If we can see where, as you were describing, the space is lit. If we can see where is the light emanating from.
It's like it's emanating from within the walls themselves. They have their own light. And even though it looks dark right in front of me, it's like if I start to take steps forward, it'll just light up. Like I only need to see a few steps ahead at any given time. And it just lights up.
Yeah. And now are you able to correlate this experience into what you were speaking of earlier? In terms of recognizing what's in front of you and working with that piece.
Yeah. If I take this step, it will appear.
Mm-hmm.
But I only need to take one step at a time and trust. And it'll light up. The light will come.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And where does the light feel that it's emanating from as you step forward?
The light within a cave, or this place, or within me.
How are you experiencing? You said as you step forward,
Right.
the path is lit.
It comes from within.
Very good. So just notice here, take this in through this experience and this expression. As you have rendered this vision and this design specifically for yourself to experience, to understand and to know how to progress on your journey. So, continuing to pull in the energy of all of these levels through the vision, through the body, deeper into your core. Not only are you walking this experience, you've also called this explanation and description to here for your being. So just continuing to absorb the power of this expression as we release out of the mind oshoshoko otoshoshi adashoshoko okoryo ota aka atoshoshoni kikiako oko shoshoya atahishia. You have created this sacred space in order to adjust through the human model doshoshiki akato toshna hakai. So anchoring in through the belly, through the womb, okototai shakai, and into your base. Okay, so coming back now into this light. Just want to check and see how your body is doing. If you're feeling any pressure or pain.
Feeling some pressure in the jaw, in the right side of the jaw.
Okay, very good.
And a lot of pressure in the heart because I feel emotional.
So we're just holding stable through this space of reception.
I can also feel it in the right arm, lower arm.
Okay, I'm wondering now if you are able, as we start to pull together some of the images from earlier where you were very good, seeing the jewel tone coming in to your being as an expression that was flowing through your hands. I'm wondering if you're able to bring those tones and that imagery into this space. And is there a way that these two scenes, these two experiences can begin to connect, begin to overlap. Is there a place to join through these colors? I'm wondering if you might be able to reach out your hand. Are you able to touch the walls, to touch into the blue tones?
Yes.
Mm.
And what I was seeing when you asked was that it almost seemed like there were places within these walls that I could put these, I want to call them seeds,
Mm-hmm.
like jewel seeds in these, you know, it reminds me of the toy when you were little, when you're first learning about shapes and you had to fit the right shape
Oh, right.
into the,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it looks like I could take these little jewels and fit them into the right shape,
So they would have to
indentations,
match. Mm-hmm.
yes, into this wall.
Very good. So that we might almost be able to say that the walls of this temple hold a space for these seed tones. So through the join, it's as if you are applying or seeding into the walls of this temple, into the templates. And as you start to do that, how do you begin to experience that join?
If I put my hand, when what I'm seeing is, oh, it's like wherever these pieces fit into these shapes in the wall, if I put my hand over them, it's like knowledge.
Mm,
Like I'm given, like they carry messages or something,
very good. Very
like a
good.
delivery system.
Shakti Ataya. And this knowledge that is activated, is there a familiarity to it? Or does it feel to be something from beyond?
No, it's familiar.
Okay, good. Could you say that in some way you are activating a return
Mm-hmm.
sequence? Very good.
Yeah. It's like these are messages from me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've left this for myself in
Mm-hmm.
some way.
Very good. We're just continuing to drop out from the field as we do this. Any residual energies, any energies from the past that you no longer require. Just have the sense too that as you've been moving along, there's this feeling of a shadow that's been following, this curiosity, this energy which is very much of the past. There's a sense that we need to begin to release this out so that you can fully rest and release into these new expressions. Do you start to experience any emotions or feelings as I describe this?
Mm. No, I'm just very receptive to letting go.
Okay, good. We're just going to open through the top of the head into the crown. Just start to drop and release any energies that may have been trailing through the field. It's as if we can open through the floor. We open these windows to see where these energies are now as you are standing in sanctuary and in your safe space. That as we open to look, there is no fear, because opening these windows allows for these energies to drop out. And because you are in this specific space of being, they can be released out easily and without any resistance. Dosha shiki atoya. Dosha shiki ato oshana akashoya. Just coming in tashana ukoshoshaya as we start to do this on the osha shiki katoya. Feeling this energy above your, so above this mountain space at the peak. So releasing out any energies from the past, any energies of confusion or deception. Sealing and releasing. I just wonder if you have a sense of this energy that is presenting here above through they're referencing as the apex, through this space.
Meridian impression is that of a large bird.
Okay, very good.
At first I thought it was an eagle, but now I'm not so sure.
Mm-hmm.
Feels more predatory.
Yes, I was seeing as soon as we released out these energies that were trailing, that this ship appeared. To me, it has these tones, which I have not seen before, but almost as the false light, but I've never seen that specifically in a shape such as this.
Does it have this ship? What does it look like? Does it look like does it have wings?
I see it as having I do hear bird. The way it appears to me though is there's a round circular, okay, let's see what this is. So I want to call it the vision field. So if I were to imagine an individual spaceship on the Oshoshi with the bubble, it's like the clear bubble in the middle where the being would sit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have that kind of 360 degree clear vision.
Right.
And as we were opening to this sequence, I'm getting through the top of my head into the center of my mind. It's incredibly painful. Doshashiki starts to come in through the lymph node on the right side. Dashashiki atoya, this pain. So let's just see if we can.
I'm experiencing pressure in the forehead.
Okay. Ask if there is anything that we need to know further about this energy. So as we're going to create what I will just call, it's as if we're freezing this freeze frame. So there's nothing to fear. As it cannot move. We hold it here to analyze and see what we need to understand from this perspective. Do you feel this connecting anywhere else into your body?
Just a lot up in the head and the ears, even the pressure and the eyes.
I'm just starting to pick up this has something to do with the divine masculine energies. And something with the communication, because they're referencing the palm of the hand and these jewel tones, the amethyst tones. So I wonder if we can create a scene where we test. We run a test to see if the masculine were to also hold these tones within his palm, within his being. How do you experience that? Is he also able to pick up this amethyst jewel into his field?
I don't know. I feel like I can't reach that.
Which part can't you reach?
Like him.
Okay.
Like I can see, but it's like he won't show me that.
So as I start to experience this energy from above, I start to see these yellow tones through the center of your field, through your being, and it's almost as if it splits out. So before, when I was looking at you, these jewel tones were coming in so strongly. As I look at it now, it's as if this light is creating an interference and it's splitting out the frequency of this tone, of this purple color. It's almost as if it's frying the signal. Okay, very good. So I would like to see if we can. Yes, so it's almost as if he's holding this through his left hand, this distortion range within the gold. But I'm seeing it, so I'm seeing the layers of this gold, that there's this yellow undertone to it. It's almost like it's opening up to reveal. Okay. We'll just ask if there's anything else that we need to know. We just want to release out. So if we can ask for him to open his palm.
I can see in his palm.
Okay.
And it kind of looks like the jewels, but different. Like more like costume jewelry.
Okay, very good, very good. So imposter,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like garish.
Yes, and so let's just explore. There's one more piece I would like for you to See if you can pick up on in relation to this energy. As you mentioned earlier, it felt like birds. Is
I
there?
keep I keep seeing black, like these big black. They look black, but I don't know that they're black. They look like shadows,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep flying. I keep
Mm-hmm.
seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
They're colorless shadow birds.
Yes, those are very good. And Oshoshokoya Dahaye Shoya with these gold tones and the signatures that are starting to present here. Shokoya, Shana Oya.
Oh, so much pain in the head now.
Mm-hmm. I start to feel that this has the Egyptian reference because I see the Doshoya, Dashashikia. Actually, through just mentioning, so these energies of Babylon, right? So the gold tones, it seems to be this, but also they're referencing the Sumerian, the Egyptian and Sumerian ranges through here. Noko shoshi ishi ka atoya. So almost as if it's another timeline through Egypt. There's a familiarity of that energy here, although it's not quite the same. I see these dark kind of shadows as these vultures. And you had mentioned earlier two predators. It's like they are swarming to, and it's interesting because when I think of vultures, wouldn't they be the birds that eat the leftovers of what another animal has killed? So it's coming in to take to take over really what another has accomplished. So there's this reference to that too. It's coming in as like they're observing down below, seeing what is occurring, and then they're swooping in to really steal the prize or what has been worked for. Does that resonate? Okay, good. Shoko Osho, yeah, it's not the best. Most fluid description, but there is that.
But there's this feeling that, even through that the human tries so hard and works so hard.
Right.
At times, and that there's,
good.
But it's never enough,
And even, the imagery is a bit garish, but it's that if a lion were hunting, right, it's to feed itself, to sustain itself. It's providing life force for itself, nurturing energies, which is required to sustain oneself. And so it's almost as if you put in all this effort in this work that you are built to achieve what you need, to bring what you need to yourself, and then something swoops in to finish off the to swoop up and comes in from behind. Of course, we see this on the collective levels as well. So this is Otoshono Okoshai. I really feel this is also having to do with the first landing, with the fallen ones. Oshoshoko Oshanihikia. So just starting to open through the mind. Yes, good. As it's really sweeping these energies off and away from your head. Oshoya Altaya. sealing out. So it's dropping out, sweeping them down and out. Casting them out of and away from your mountain ranges. So collapsing that imagery out of this scene. I just want to call in through the angelic harmonies to bring in rehabilitation, to bring in nurturance into the field, to come in. Okay, let's come into the mind, into the center of the head. There's still an immense amount of pressure and pain. Okay, again, I'm coming into the divine masculine. And what are you experiencing here?
Oh, just a lot of pressure right in that. Yeah, just in the head.
I want to come in specifically to the divine masculine. There's this feeling of almost having been locked out of, so the sense that he was connecting into something, but not fully getting the complete picture, not fully understanding. So there was a bit of a, I always get that like the schism through the field, that kind of static through the mind. So I wonder now if you can start to come in here and see if there's a space where you can use your hands to apply, to reapply these tones into and through his field. You might even start to pick up on it through your own body. If you feel a place that you would like to really relieve the pressure.
I'm actually just placing my hand on my own head.
Your head?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
First it was on the womb now. But I need to come to the head.
Very good. Starting to feel this coming in through the heart space as well as you connect in to the healing tones and your healing capacity. And I almost feel for you to guide the divine masculine, to show him. Oh, so emotional. How you are experiencing this pain as through your own field. It's almost as if teaching the divine masculine, because what I start to see is, I don't remember which movie this was in, but where it's a reflection in the mirror, but recognizing that the reflection is moving differently than oneself, but that you're mirroring to him how to place his hand to assist.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, it's that one hand needs to be on the heart. The other can go on top of the place that needs it.
Very good, very good, very good. What it actually feels like to me is that you are relaying through the heart now. It's almost as if each counterpart has picked up on specific guidance through their field, through their experiences, and now it's almost as if transferring that through the ranges now. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I just want to call in again through the angelics, calling in the teams for greater support through the human experience. As the starlight beings began to render into this space, as they began to present to assist and as witness to the healing that occurs through union. That as you connect into your abilities and your capacity to connect into the energy and run this for yourself, that in turn you are sharing this directly with the masculine. So really anchoring in this sequence, this potential architecture through the field. So I see actually that midpoint now through your field here. It's as if you came into this, again, knowing we use the term mountain range, right? You came into this range to anchor in what you might say. So it's like learning a new skill, but this, you hold this capacity, this ability through your field. Okay, very good. Feeling this into the lower jaws. Okay, good. Starting to feel the release off of the head now. Okay, I know that was not easy. So just hold this through the field for, it's almost as if scanning this whole sequence that you moved through from the very beginning when you entered the temple, picking up on your path and on your light, picking up on the jewel tones, bringing this up into your temple space. Releasing out of the mind the doubt and the trepidation that it can really show up in this way. Okay, clearing through the eyes and out through the horizontals again. So updating through the vision and through the knowing. That we are simply here to help you connect in to what you are bringing forth for yourself. Very good. Feeling that within the belly now, within the womb as it anchors. Anchoring in. Really feeling that starting to birth through the field. So I'm being brought back to this overlook now. Again, it's as if we're stepping back now from this scene, from this journey, this journey through your field. Good. Okay, just coming into the heart, as I feel this burning through the heart, continuing to release out, dropping lower densities, lower domains of so the spectral atmosphere. It's as if this wave has come through this this wind, but it's coming in as a wave through this scene. Start to pick up on this through the arms. As we lift the hands to receive in, so it's almost receiving the wave, the energy through this wave into the palms. And feeling the weight of that now, as it comes in. Very good. Okay, so we're just going to start to step back and start to seal out. As we do this, though, we're going to call in through the unfoldment and through the revealment the planes of expression and the planes of Gato shoshoko oshoya hana I. So that we are pulling this through the timelines. It's as if we maintain the thread to this energy sequence, to this chapter, that this stays with you, in all levels of this experience. That we're not experiencing these journeys as illusions anymore. We're experiencing these journeys as light referencing, but that it's even more than that because we are of the light. So stepping through that doorway, when you first dropped your cloak, we're going to come back to that spot. So that as we start to return, we lift this cloak up off of the ground. We infuse the light of this sequence into this cloak. And you just pause so that you can turn to return through this gateway, placing this cloak upon your shoulders. Good. And so then linking in through the lattice system of the biology. So we're going to bring you in what they're calling a gate phase of transference. So into a space, into a chamber, which will allow the sequence to infuse in. I see the electrical filaments, so almost these little sparks through the field where the connections are being made into the nervous system, into the biology, linking up in through the cellular system. Just want to come into the mind to adjust at the base of the brain here. In and okay, very good. We're going to open through the temporal lobes. So that we're going to render. We have spoken of this before, the importance and the role of the temporal lobe within the mind. So we are directly accessing this now. It's as if we download this in to the mind. Very good. And into the channels of the body. So absorbing the light sequence. As you are light being within the human embodiment. Bringing back your knowledge and your wisdom. As you begin to step back onto the earth planes through the temple of one. As we begin to descend down the stairs into the pools of water and back through the green carpets of the gardens. Alright, so just starting to acclimate the body back, noticing where you're lying, and when you feel comfortable, opening your eyes. Okay, how are you feeling here?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
That was quite a journey. No, I just looked over at the clock and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even believe how much time went by.
It felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so incredible. And yeah, like that's what I needed.
Mhm.
That whole style, it just makes sense to me.
Good, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was really interesting to see all the pieces of it and then see how they were all coming together and then to start to understand in your own way what all of these things mean.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that I'm left with wondering about is
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have this sense or this ability to sense into the shadow stuff that was following. Like I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't see it. It was like my blind spot, I had no
Well,
sense of it.
and it's interesting that you say blind spot because I kept, and so it was interesting for me as well because this is running differently than I've ever experienced this work. So there was a lot that
Okay.
you were describing that I wasn't seeing specifically either.
Mm.
Um, so knowing, right, that we're working together in that respect, it's not just me saying, okay, pick up on this. This is what that is, right? That
Mhm.
you're in your own space and picking up on that. But there was this sense too. I kept thinking like, okay, I feel this thing on the left side. Like I feel like I can't see fully on my left side. So even as you say
Right.
blind spot, I'm like, wow, that's kind of exactly how I was experiencing it though. So, but it makes sense that you wouldn't see it if you couldn't see it either. So, um,
Mhm.
again, and just knowing that that's kind of what I do,
Right.
that's kind of my specialty, I guess. So, right. And there was a part where I'm like, well, she's not saying anything about this. Okay, maybe, but then it started coming in so strongly. So, but again, to see how it presents, like in the way that we can both understand it together and to work it from both angles.
Right. And then it doesn't have to be the same symbolism or the same imaging necessarily to,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. To be the same, right? Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true because we both have our own
Mm-hmm.
framework.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I definitely like I could feel that the whole time. It was kind of like, I mean, it reminded me of like I don't know what like someone who is traveling through the mountains, but there's some kind of
Like something following them.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
trailing, like curious, right? It's more curiosity than anything else.
Kind of
But
like Frodo and Gollum or
that's exactly because I was like, it kind of reminded me of like the Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of figure, right? There's kind of like a little, there's a distortion there though in the energy though, right? But it's like it's not intentionally harmful, but it's again, it's this curiosity that's kind of dragging though through the field. So
right.
but then as you start to pick up at the higher ranges, right, it's like then when we get up, so it's like that was coming all the way through. It's like we can even start to build an image of that too, like what does that even mean, like that was with you the whole time, it was coming up the mountain, and then when we get above we see really where it was actually coming from, where it's connecting into. So it's almost like when we go through our daily life, where we're like, oh, I've always felt that, where I was feeling like there's something that was just like bothering me, right? But I didn't know what it was. But then it's like it's like you experience that through the physical, through this as we're moving up through the planes too. It's like, okay,
Right.
it's following you. And then when we get up to these higher energies, we're like, oh, here's actually where it's coming from. So we start to see the
Right.
source of
Okay.
that and how so the source of it can be different than how we experience it through the human, right? It's like, how does it render into the field then? It's like not exactly the same, like it's not that same being that's up there above your temple space, right? It's coming in through the ship or these other, it's connected to a greater collective kind of range of energies. So it's just, you can start to paint these pictures with these pieces that you get for your own understanding too. So
Yeah.
really kind of interesting how that all comes through.
Oh,
Is,
totally.
is there anything else that stood out to you that was
I think that it was just such a visceral
okay?
experience that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, that I guess I respond really well to as well.
I was going to say
That,
you work really well with this type of work. Yeah, you're always
hmm
very
like slowing down and just being really,
mm-hmm.
and it was weird too because there were a few moments where I was so just in, like just in the energy in my body, not in the mind. And then I could feel myself switch.
Yes.
Like I
Yep.
could feel when that would happen.
Right.
And almost right away you'd be like, okay, let's clear out the mind.
Right.
You know, I'm like,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
I could feel it. Because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm starting to think about this too much. Like this is now becoming a thought process rather than an experience.
Right.
So
Right.
I became aware of that
Yeah.
when it was happening.
And so much of that mind work also is just finding the trigger point. So it's not that even, oh my God, I shifted into my mind. It's really that those are where the programs are linked in. So it's like, I just go and I follow that, right? So when I start to feel, I'm like, okay, here it is. We're going to release this out, you know? So again, it's not like, oh shoot, I messed up kind of thing. It's just,
Well, and it's funny because there was a point of like second guessing. Like I think
yes,
we
exactly.
we were entering this space in the cave, this opening, and I could see this blue. And then you asked me something about now when you asked me about the jewels and if there's anything I could be doing with them. And I saw right away what it was, but I'm like, I don't want to say
Right, right.
because it feels so dumb, you know, like it almost felt so simple. Like you put the shape in here, you
Right,
know,
right, right.
and that's it. Like
It's
that's
so
all you do with this,
elementary,
right?
but that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So I could feel myself hesitating. I'm like, is this what it is? Like,
Mhm.
do I say this? This is all that, you know? But
Well, and
yeah.
that's where I think sometimes we don't have enough of, right, as we're developing through this work, it's like we're recognizing sometimes we don't have enough of that space to allow ourselves to test out what we're thinking because we hear so much from everyone else, right? Oh, this is what I'm seeing and this is what it is and this is how it should be we think that's how we should understand it. So yeah, it's breaking through that barrier as well of allowing it to flow up and trusting in it, which is not easy. So yeah, it
Well,
does trigger.
what helped was I remembered at one of like sometime when you had said like sometimes things will come to you in these weird symbolic ways, like just this image will randomly appear
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be like, oh, okay. Like I had one come up for me the other day actually in a when I was running, like trying to run some of my own energy, and I saw a
Mm-hmm.
gumball machine,
Oh, yeah.
like a yeah, you know, like a big orb full of gumballs that were all these different colors, and I'm like, what is this for?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and the image I got was, well, you put a quarter in the gumball machine and it spits out a gumball, but just one. I'm like, oh, so it means like what I was sort of getting from the impression was it's one at a time.
One in and one out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to do things sort of one at a time. There was this, and then you get the gum, you know, you get the color, you get the whatever.
Yeah, which is such a
This,
thing for you right now.
but
Yeah.
when you think about what it is, it's dispensing, right? It's
Sure.
dispensing
Yep.
a gumball, which is
Mm-hmm.
what? A sphere,
Mm-hmm.
a colored sphere. Like I'm like, okay, this is just so
Perfect.
random,
I know, but
but at the same time, it wasn't.
no, the brilliance really of these messages that's embedded into these simple things, right? As you allow it to expand and you look at it deeper and you're like, oh my God, like that's amazing. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
wonderful.
totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're
I
welcome. Thank
really
you.
enjoyed that
Oh,
whole
good.
experience. That was,
Good.
yeah, that felt
Good.
like it really resonated. So,
Wonderful.